Hey everybody, this is Oscar from the Side Hustle Playbook, and in this video we're going to show you our new conveyor dryer that we got for our DTG business, the Vastex Little Red X1D. So if you're looking at getting one, stay tuned. We'll show you what we've learned from it and see if it'll be something that will benefit your side hustle. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so like we said, we got this conveyor dryer. We were looking to be able to produce a little bit faster. The heat press works great, but it does give us that box around the design from that final press that you do when you cure your DTG print. So we were looking to try to get a little bit more of a production feel. That way when our clients get their shirts, they're not seeing that box. Also with the heat press, what you would see on some colors, like the reds and the greens, you see not only that box, but that box is also highlighted because it takes a little bit of that color, changes that color a little bit. Sometimes with some of the reds, it'll kind of come back after it cools. But with some, especially like the olive green, we kind of notice that that'll just sit there. Not as easy to see from the original press. But when you kind of still put it there and you really like inspect that shirt, you can definitely see that box with a light colored or a little bit of that colored change there. So, talking to folks, trying to research this, a lot of the folks, basically use the big boys, use the conveyor dryer. So we decided to go ahead and get one. And we went with this Vastex. And I'll show you guys what it looks like. It's the Little Red X1D. Supposed to be specific, or not necessarily specific, but handles the DTG printing because it has two basically heat zones. One is super hot, so it'll kind of get that temperature up, and then the other one is still higher, but in that short period it's supposed to be able to get your ink because you're trying to get to that 320 mark for a consistent period of time. So we went ahead and got this one. So far it's been pretty good. Now there's been a lot of testing. One of the things that they will tell you right out of the gate is you want to test it in your own environment. They do give you some good starting points, which we used, but we had to adjust it quite a bit here and there. So we ended up getting one of those donut probes to help us out. And even with that, it still was, it wasn't the easiest thing to try to dial this thing in. So a lot of wash tests, a lot of anytime we get a chance to print, we would do our test prints on this, show the picture to the client, make sure they were happy with it. And once they were, we would dry it through this bad boy. And then that way we can do our wash tests on that sample. So a lot of wash tests. We think we've kind of dialed it in. We got the temperatures that we like, that feel the best. Sometimes it'll feel like you scorched the ink a little bit. It's a little very rough and cracks. And then there's been times where we didn't cook it enough. And after a few washes, the ink was starting to come off pretty easily. So, a lot of testing. So definitely if you get whatever conveyor dryer you get, if you ever get one, just like any heat press, just like any other piece of equipment, definitely make sure you're testing, and, making sure you have the best results for your environment. So let's go ahead and get this thing turned on. It is pretty loud with the exhaust fan. So for that, we'll kind of just show you kind of what we do to get this thing going. So stay tuned and check it out. So here we have the finished product. Overall, the feel is good. It doesn't feel too rough, and that's kind of what we were getting before. This feels more like we were getting off of the heat press as far as the ink is concerned, where it's nice and smooth. Feels nice there. Um, still have a little bit of the discoloration from the pre-treat on the olive shirt. So whatever pre-treat you're using, one thing that I've learned um, is to definitely look at the different um, settings, or basically their test results. With Firebird ink, they have like an entire section on their website where you can basically see, the brand for the brands that they've tested, the colors, and then for olive, they do have a slight discoloration. Um, Not horrible like this one, you can barely see it, but if you really pay attention, you can see it there. So with this shirt color, we've actually reduced the amount of pre-treat per their suggestion. So, but overall, happy with it. Let me show you something else that I learned. And on this one, this is one of the test ones that we did. Now with this one, very similar, but if you look at the actual image, you'll see that there's a little bit of like pixelation, like right down the edge. It's a little rough. This actually happened from the image. So client gave us their image. It was something that they actually came up with. And we went ahead and used it, but the quality of the image wasn't very good. And sometimes you learn the hard way. You just kind of assume, you know what that saying is. So I assumed everything was good. Just it looked good to my naked eye. But once I actually put it in the RIP software and expanded it a little bit, the quality definitely was not there when I actually started looking really closely at the details. So, and on that one, they actually made it on some software that they had. So it wasn't in your standard like Adobe file. So I actually had to recreate it myself from not scratch, but using their template, or using their design as a template, and then kind of just redesigning it. So wasn't an exact match. I think on the bottom I went a little shorter on their wording, but overall we got close. And again, showed them first before we started printing. Said, hey, this is what we got. Explained the situation to them. They were very happy that we took the time to go ahead and redo the design for them. Depending on the design, I'm not always going to do that. This one was a pretty straightforward design and easy to do. So it's one of those things where I'm not always going to do that. Or if we do recreate it, there might be, additional charges there. But, this one was just pretty straightforward. They used, I want to say they did it on one of those vinyl cutter softwares, one of those small, do it from home type of vinyl cutters, the Cricut or one of those ones. I'm not 100%. So we were able to, kind of play with it and get it up and running. So very happy there. But again, this was a, did we waste a shirt? Yes, but it was actually one that we used to test. So we still were able to test the ink quality, make sure when we were done that we were going to be happy with the end result. So overall, I guess, overall my, initial thoughts on the Vastex is that it is good. It does what it's supposed to do. It's not 100% easy at the beginning. You're definitely going to need to do some testing. And let me show you that device that I got. It's right over here. So it's basically a Atkins, as you can see there. And let's open it up real quick. This is the donut probe. Hi. So as you can see it there, it's basically probe is right here. This goes in, put it right on the ink. And basically what that does is supposed to give you the direct reading of your ink at that moment. So you're trying to hit your temperature there. And like I said, it works. It does what it's supposed to do. But then we did have to do quite a bit of manipulation of the Vastex to kind of get it where we wanted. So, but overall, definitely happy with it. I'm hoping, as like I've talked before about when we do some screen printing, being able to use that for the plastisol ink as well. So I think we'll be good there. So overall, happy with it. Some of the things that we've learned though, yeah, is you can cook it a little bit too much. And when you do, you're definitely going to get a very rough feel, almost like the ink is dried out. And if you start picking at it, it'll start flaking a little bit. So definitely watch yourselves when you guys are using the conveyor dryer and the DTG ink for you first timers like myself. And just keep on grinding it out. And like I said, for us, it's been a learning process, but definitely way more comfortable with the Ricoh RI1000 than I was at the beginning. And again, it was a lot of trial and error, getting on the Facebook groups, asking questions, reaching out to support. And I think, like I said, I'm not going to say that I'm 100% with it as far as being 100% comfortable. But overall, I think, like, especially, with the majority of the designs that we've done recently, I'm pretty comfortable. Like, I kind of have a good starting point. From time to time, I have to do, one or two trial and errors on some of the tougher or more colorful designs to try to get it right. And, and then depending on if they have white, doing the choke, things like that. But overall, I'm getting I feel pretty comfortable pushing some stuff through and making sure my pre-treat's good, doing our wash tests. Everything seems to be holding up with our last settings that we've been using. So pre-treat wise, we've been testing out a couple, and I'll kind of do a different video just kind of letting you guys know what I'm finding there. Again, it's just trying to share information with you guys, hopefully saving you guys time, where rather than you trying it out, you can just learn from me. So anyways, I hope you guys have a great one. We'll be back soon with another video, and have a great one. Get good after it.